Ose shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Okay, I think we're working. I think we're back up and functioning, you guys. We did it. That's the early miracle of Hanukkah, is what that is. Yeah, I'll tell you later. Okay. So this week is the Torah portion that gives me one of my favorite internet memes of all time. If you're not familiar with a meme, it's like a little picture or a little video or something that has a bit of words that tells you about the culture. It also generally means a peek into a culture. So my favorite picture on the internet is a picture. It's like old timey, and it looks like a painting of Jacob wrestling with an angel, and it says, "And the angel said unto him, Lo, why are you hitting yourself?" and it just kills me every time. I'll show it to you later. But I'm not just bringing that up because I want you to know what I'm looking at on the internet is like funny Bible memes. It's because you already had some kind of sense that I was that person, I'm sure. But it's also because this week's Parsha is the story in which Jacob wrestles with this angel. So Jacob's story is so interesting. The fact that he played all this trickery and got this birthright and did all these things, and then he's about to go meet his brother for the first time, and the night before that happens, he's all night wrestling with an angel. Now, was it actually God? Was it an angel? What is it? His conscience saying, like, what you did these last 40 years and the way that you acted is bad? I don't know. But this is the moment in which Jacob's name gets changed. Right? So wrestles all night, hits him in the hip socket. They keep wrestling. And the angel says, like, I'm not going to let you go. The angel says, let me go. And Jacob says, I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me. Which, like, first of all, you already did this once. So, okay. And then he says, and then the angel says to him, what's your name? And he says, Jacob. And he says, okay, so your name is no longer going to be Jacob. It's going to be Yisrael, which means struggled with or strived with or wrestled with God. It says, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Yisrael, for you have striven with beings divine and human and have prevailed. Yisrael. You know, this is a word that I often will talk to a 7th grader about when they sit in my office and say something like, I don't want to do this. This is boring. I'm afraid, some version of that, or some version of like, my mom's making me, or some version of I'm afraid to talk in front of people, right? It all boils down to fear and anxiety. And they say, and I don't believe a lot of this, and what am I supposed to do? How can I just get up there and say these words if I don't believe them? And it's my privilege and honor to tell these kids what the word Yisrael means. And that it's their responsibility to struggle with the words. It's in the name. And they kind of look at me. So I don't have to agree? No. I don't have to believe that this is how it happened? No. huh. And like opens the door a little bit. It's the thing about Judaism that I think is I hold the most dear, perhaps. The fact that it is our responsibility. We are named after the idea of struggling with God. B'nai Yisrael, the children of Jacob, the children of that struggle. Because when I talk about taking the Torah seriously but not literally, what I mean is it is our responsibility then to engage with all of the words, even the words that we don't love. Even the words that we find really challenging, even the parts of our story and our history that we find less than savory. Unsavory. Got it. Right? Even the pieces of ourselves, the pieces of our tradition, the pieces of our heritage that feel uncomfortable, those are ours too. And it is our responsibility to wrestle with them. Most often, the thing that I hear when I meet with somebody who's thinking about conversion is, you mean I can ask anything I want? Yeah. Yeah, we encourage that, in fact. If you look at our history, if you look at the recordings of the rabbis, who every single minority opinion, majority opinion, everything was documented. Because we're about to come to a holiday in which there's a big rabbinic fight about which way do we light the candles. This way, I'll talk about it next week. This one said this way, this one said this way. Do we do it according to this rabbi for this reason? But we also make sure that everybody knows about the other rabbi. Right? Disagreement and struggling with how do we do something is in our nature, which gives us permission to ask questions and also does not allow us to walk away when we think something is too hard, or when we disagree too strongly with the text, or disagree too strongly with whatever's happening in the world. So I'm grateful for that permission today. I feel good about it because it allows me to tell people a full truth, and it also allows me to say something like, I'm not really sure about the whole Noah thing. Like, 2 of each animal, and then what about mosquitoes? And why didn't they fly away? And, those kinds of questions that, I'm sure, Jan, when you're teaching the first and second graders, they're like, and what about unicorns? And what about dinosaurs, right? Right? It doesn't mean that I don't think the text is important, because I do. It is the thing that has held up our people for generations. We have a Torah in here from a Czech synagogue. We are part of this big project that these synagogues in the Czech Republic, the Czechoslovakia, hid, buried. People took the Torahs out, and they were distributed around the world in the hopes, of course, that one day we will be able to return those Torahs to the place that they belong. It's kind of on loan until those, God willing, someday, perhaps, that will be a safe place for Jews to be again. Right? But those stories, like, people wrapped themselves in the parchment. Right? I don't know the exact story of ours. I'm sure Rabbi Arnie does, and he could tell us everything about it. But people dug holes, hid them, put them in their Christian neighbors' attics, like everything they could think of to preserve these words that they may or may not have believed in, but that they probably struggled with. And so that, to me, is the beauty of the struggle. I feel really grateful for this moment in the Torah. Because what happens after this struggle, is that he goes before his brother and falls on him and kisses his neck and says he's so sorry. And then Esav says, and he tries to give his brother all this stuff. He's like, I shouldn't have done this. I should have acted. Right, but just before that, he was like, wait, don't leave until you bless me. Right? And Asaph says, I have enough. You keep what's yours. Right? This struggle of conscience, the struggle of engaging with the divine in a different way, of looking for ways in which we can connect that can allow us to do the right thing, perhaps. As I continue to say, the examples in the Torah are examples of positive things and some examples of less positive things, right? But these are stories about human beings, right? They are our ancestors, but they are human beings. And so we see their flaws, and I'm grateful for that because it makes me it helps me remember that we don't have to be perfect human beings to leave a legacy. And the legacy that Jacob left us, this wrestling. I mean, it's in every Jewish joke. 2 Jews, 3 opinions. It's right there, right? And it's in every time that I am angry at God for something, or that I feel angry with the Jewish people for something, or I feel whatever it is, angry with the text. It gives me that space to feel those feelings. I'm really grateful for that. So while I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat of peace, I also wish you a Shabbat of engagement. And a Shabbat of maybe a little mental wrestling. Physical wrestling, take or leave. But a Shabbat of thinking about our text in a new way. And holding on to that legacy that it is okay to ask those questions. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to take a moment now to pause and think of all of those people in our community and in our world who are in need of healing of body and mind and spirit. Those people in our lives and in our world. This week we are thinking of Barbara Saul, Joel Ben Moshe, Joyce Holbrook, Janice Book, Joe and Richard Koski, Mickey Berg, Sharon Burns, Tom Rutan, Linda Tashbook, Art Scaife, Douglas Comey, and Sheila Hankel. If there's anybody else you are thinking of this evening whose name you'd like to share with our community, I invite you to either stand or raise your hands, and we'll go around and share those names aloud. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Dan.
Zoe Marcus, Judy Casper, Nora Raymond, Julie Palmer, Rosie Richards, brother Jeff, Jerry Porcher, and Kyle Hunt.
Carolyn Jerry, Jerry Krugel, Joanne.
Also thinking of Susan Ushtel and Rebecca Harris this evening, David Harris. We joined together on page 67. Mishabera avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say, Amen. Misha Beherach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Before we continue our service, Andy, it's your time. If you wouldn't mind sharing a few announcements with us. Yay.
Would be my pleasure.
Thank you.
Where are
Right there.
they? Right here.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and our members, I'd like to extend a special welcome to all of our congregants and anyone visiting us this evening. And remember, this Sunday, December 3rd, our Hanukkah spree will continue from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Please join our intergenerational Hanukkah event at Congregation Shir Tikvah next Sunday, December 10th at 11 a.m. There will be a show, treats, and songs. We will be celebrating Hanukkah with a community-wide event at Shared Zedek on Sunday, November 10th at from 3 to 5:30 p.m. And that's all we have. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you to the membership. Joyce and Nancy, the membership committee did the ONEG tonight? Just you guys. Thank you.
Just like to invite people to join our Musar group, which is starting.
Yay!
It'll be a study group online.
Musar group studying online.
And it's going to be on Saturday mornings at, I think we decided 11:30.
11:30. Saturday mornings.
That gets up to time without Marla.
Yeah, well. So thank you for Musar. Musar is like the study of mystical ethics, like a day-by-day living. It's a really interesting what? Soul, yeah. It's like a soul. It's like an individual spiritual practice. It comes from the Zohar, which is a Kabbalistic interpretation of things. It's very interesting. It's going to be great. And if you want to buy the book, we're starting with Everyday Holiness. It's a great book. I think we have some copies in the library. We have 3 copies in the library. You don't have to buy it. You can borrow it and bring it back. Oh, yes. That was the other thing I knew that something, okay. So this Sunday, not only do we have the Hanukkah spree, but we also have Rabbi Arnie is going to be presenting the story of his family's survival, which you may have heard from him before. But if you haven't heard from him, it's an incredible story, and that is happening here at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. So I encourage you to attend if you haven't heard it before, and if you have heard it before, tell people you know. It's a moving, it's just such a moving experience. All right, we're going to continue. Elenu is on page 74. Will you rise and join me? Alinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'ted gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kugei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kachem, וגורר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. I invite you to be seated for a moment if you'd like. After a while, we learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And we learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't always mean security, and that we learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. And we begin to accept our defeats with our heads up and our eyes straight forward. And we learn to build all our roads on today because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, we learn that even sunshine burns if we ask too much. So, we plant our own gardens and decorate our own souls instead of waiting for someone to bring us flowers. And we learn that we really can endure, and that we really are strong, and that we really have worth. And we learn, and we learn. With every goodbye, we learn. This week, we are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Larry Goodman, husband of Sharon Goodman, Carol Koski, wife of the late Ralph Koski, after whom our outdoor sanctuary is named, and sister-in-law of Joe and Richard Koski. Dr. Robert Mast, stepfather of Lorelei Berg, father-in-law of Seth, and grandfather of Charlie, Zachary, Genevieve, and Maxwell. This week, we also recall the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Egon Brenner, father of Dorothy Halprin, and Rhoda Brenner, mother of Dorothy Halprin. Mark Lawrencell, brother of Jan Lawrencell. Gus Enguis, father of Penny Kinzer and grandfather of David Kinzer. Paula Gautier, sister of Mary Cheswick. Dolores Houston, mother of Karen Redmond. Sylvia Zaks, mother of Marilyn West. Bernard Weiner, father of David Weiner. Simon Sludelberg, father of Esther and Rabbi Arnie Sludelberg. Constance Scaife, stepmother of Art Scaife. And Aaron Lesson, father of Bart Lesson. If there's anybody else you're remembering this evening whose name you'd like to share with our community, I invite you to do that at this time. We rise and join together for the Kaddish Hatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, another string of praise words that allow us to be grateful as we remember all of those who we have lost. Yidkadal v'yidkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute, be'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yit Adar, V'yit Alev, V'yit Halal, Shemei Kudasha, B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, v'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, here and everywhere. To which we say, amen. I invite you to be seated. We're going to conclude our service this evening with O Devo Shalom, which you will find on the top of page 83. O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu, O Devo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom, salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, shalom. O Devo shalom aleinu, O Devo shalom aleinu, O Devo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. I want to thank Joyce and Nancy, who are not in here anymore, but who put together a lovely oneg for us. So thank you to them. Thank you for the lovely oneg. Ooh, let's join together in a kiddush, and then we'll walk through and have a little kiddush and motzi situation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Chaim, everybody. Ooh. Okay, here, time for the reveal. Ooh, this is a good one. World Friendship. We love that. This is first and second grade, latest challah cover. We love, oh, look at all the little tiny babies. Oh, so cute. That's great. This is a great one. Thanks, Jan. I always look at Jan when, not because she drew these, but because she facilitates the making of these. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. May you find ways to engage and wrestle and also find peace this Shabbat. Come join us for the oneg. Thanksgiving Hanukkah theme. Thanksgiving Hanukkah themed oneg. We love it. Thank you. And I am thankful for you both for doing that. Okay, it didn't get that in here. That's good. Well, okay. That's fair.